one of the things that you want to avoid is one of the erroneous zones I call procrastination, which is simply hoping and wishing and filling yourself with maybes and being bored and all of these kinds of things. If you sit around and hope and wish and say maybe over and over and over again in your life, then you are simply going to be a person who is using up the present moment to fill it with wishes rather than with action. Procrastination is nothing more than a typical way to keep yourself from taking action in your life. And I have found, we just moved into a new home not too long ago, and we had about 200 boxes that had to be broken up in the garage. And I looked at those boxes, and I knew that nobody else was going to break them up but Daddy. This is Daddy's job. And every day I'd go in and I'd look at all of those boxes, and I'd say, no, I really don't want to deal with that today, and I'd let that go. And then came the time when just a few days ago, when I went out there and I said, I'm just going to break up 5. I'll just do 5, and then if I do 5 every day for the next 3 weeks, I'll have them all broken up, and then I'll call the moving, and they'll come and pick them up. Well, that's the key to eliminating procrastination, because as soon as I did 5, I said, well, I can do 5 more. And I came in about an hour and a half later, and I had the entire job done. I have found that to be true with virtually everything in my life. If I can put it off and put it off and put it off, but just do one sentence, and you got your letter written. Just sit down, and instead of telling yourself, I've got to write this long, long letter to my mother and I haven't written in a long time, you don't do that. You say, I think I'll just write 1 paragraph to her today. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing is done. Just one little action, one little step, and you have the whole thing corrected. In Hamlet, there's a line that says, refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, and the next more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature. That's so beautiful. For use almost can change the stamp of nature. You can change your very nature by just refraining, by just doing something in the moment. So whatever it is right now, as soon as this tape is over, and it'll be over in just a few minutes, as soon as it's over, whatever it is that you've been procrastinating about or thinking about doing but haven't gotten around to do it, just do an opening on it. Just start it. And you'll find that simple little act is what gets you going. And it's always, and where does that come from? It doesn't come from acting. It comes from thinking. Thinking makes it so. So rid your life of hoping and wishing and saying maybe and all of those kinds of things. And instead, move beyond that and say, anything I can visualize in my mind, if I can get it there and hold it there, I can act upon it. So I will act upon it in the now, in the working unit of your life, now, today, this moment. Anger is another erroneous zone that is very important to deal with. It's something that I think a lot about because there's so much of it in the world. It's the cause of almost all international crises. It's the cause of family breakups and so on. And a lot of people think that anger is just something that happens. And anger isn't. You don't have anger genes. You have choices. There's no anger in the world. There are only people thinking angry thoughts and then acting out on those thoughts. Buddha said you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Your anger is something that you live with. And when you use it on somebody else or abuse somebody else with that anger and act out on it, you are carrying around the seeds of your own destruction and the destruction of others. You must know that it starts with your processing. You see an event in the world take place. You see your children do something that you don't want them to do. Someone cuts you off on the freeway or whatever. And it isn't the act that makes you angry. It's how you process the act. Always keep in mind that if you didn't know about it, then it couldn't upset you. It couldn't make you angry. So the fact is, it's your knowing. Somehow your knowing is connected to your anger, and that knowing is your processing of it. I mean, your children could all day long be failing biology and be skipping school and everything else, and if you don't know about it, you can't get angry. Now someone tells you about it, and you're angry. The event didn't cause you to be angry. If the event caused you to be angry, then you would have been angry long before you knew about it, because they've been doing this for 6 months. It is your processing of it. What you have to do is learn that whatever you're experiencing, whether it's anger or any of the erroneous zones that I've been speaking about in here, guilt and worry and self-rejection and approval-seeking and justice and procrastination, All of these things are to be considered by you as your way of processing your world. You have the choice not to be angry in a given moment. If they are something that is immobilizing you, then you have to leave it. And you leave it by first of all changing around your thoughts.